It's the Black Friday episode of Locked On Pelicans, and to celebrate, we're going to be talking about the rookies and where they stand in their rookie class and how they're both, all three of them are exceeding expectations, and you're getting 2 game previews for the price of one. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Pelicans, your daily New Orleans Pelicans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to another edition of Locked On Pelicans, the daily podcast covering your favorite team, the New Orleans Pelicans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And now, the number one sports podcast network in the nation. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Join over 12,000 Pelicans fans on YouTube. And you can also watch us over on the Gulf Coast's Sports and Entertainment Network. You're already watching your Pelicans games over there, so you might as well come hang out with us also. I'm your host for today, Pelicans Insider, credentialed member of the media, Dylan Sanders. You can find me over on Twitter at Dilly Sanders, and I'm also the publisher of Pelicans Roundtable, which is a fun community of basketball fans. Come talk ball with me, man. All right. Today, we're going to be talking about the NBA releases a rookie ladder every weekend, and it kind of gives the top 10 rookies in each, any given week. It's kind of like a power ranking, but just for the rookies. Both of the Pelicans players, Pelicans first-round draft picks, are above where they got drafted, so I think that's worth talking about. And also, he's not included, but I think while we're talking rookies, we have to share some love to Micah Peavy. He's been great. So let's get into that. And then the Pelicans are going on a 2-game back-to-back road trip to California. Let's talk about preview the games against the Warriors and the Lakers later on in the show. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. All right, I want to talk about this rookie ladder because I think it's pretty interesting. The rookies have been getting a lot of praise this season, and rightfully so, but over the past couple of games, people have started to not really dog them, but you've started to see things unravel a little bit for them. The game's speed's picking up. We've talked about it a bunch. The game's speed's picking up, and they're starting to struggle a little bit. But I think it's important to remember that these two players are both exceeding expectations, and Micah Peavy as well. I keep saying these two players because it's two on the rookie ladder. So let's get into the ladder conversation because I think it shows how good they are relative to where they got drafted. All right. The number one rookie on the ladder is Con Knippel of the Charlotte Hornets. The Pelicans have seen firsthand he is one of the best young shooters the NBA has. It's really, really impressive. He's on pace to smash the rookie three-point record, which was Keegan Murray with 206 a couple years ago. And Knippel has had a really, really strong start to his season. He had his first kind of stinker of a game a couple of days ago against the New York Knicks. Not shocking. That is a very good wing and perimeter defending team. He shot he was 0 for 7, 6 points, 4 rebounds. So that was his first real dud of a game. And I think that he's earned the ability to have that. Number 2 is Cooper Flagg. He is like the superstar of this draft. He'll probably end up being the number 1 on the power rankings not too far into the future. He has had a really good couple of weeks, and he's kind of found his footing after they stopped making him play point guard, essentially. So he's looking better now. And let's see. Number 3 is Cedric Coward of the Memphis Grizzlies. 14 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, 3 assists, just overall really strong. And he is someone who's way outpacing his draft spot because he was drafted at number 11. All right, now let's get to the first New Orleans Pelicans player on the board. It's Derik Queen. Not shocking. He is the number 1 rookie on the Pelicans right now. He's number 3, I think, in betting odds to win Rookie of the Year. Number 1 and 2 are Knippel and Flagg. And that's kind of a 2-man race right now. But that next guy is Derik Queen because he is doing so many different things and kind of in different ways. I think let's look real quick at just how good he's been since kind of being given that starting spot, not starting spot. Well, he is starting, but ever since he's been put into the rotation more and more, getting at least like around 20 minutes a game back in that Charlotte game, that first win, his real breakout performance. He's averaging 14.5 points, 6.9 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 1.4 steals, and around a block. That is really, really good numbers. He is an offensive, not mastermind yet, but his offensive skill set is really special. He has the ability to kind of slow things down, make the game around him slow down, go at his speed. And whenever he's doing that, he looks great. And he has been struggling a little bit against in the faster paced offense, but you kind of saw in that fourth quarter against Memphis, he kind of started to click. He started doing some really good things against Zach Edey, and then they took him out and then he didn't play it overtime, and the offense kind of fell apart. Part of me wonders, if Queen was getting those minutes, would they have been able to find a little bit of a shot? Now, the reason he didn't get those minutes and didn't get that chance is because he's been a massive liability on the defensive side of the ball. And that can't be ignored because teams are able to like hunt him down. And it was kind of like the worry about him in coming out of the draft. He's a bit of a slower player. He doesn't have like the defensive acumen of someone that you want playing center in the modern NBA, but I think there's been flashes of it. He has really fast hands. He's made some good reads on passes. He's come through with some pretty big blocks. He had a big block in that game. That's kind of turned into the past couple of weeks that he's been able to do blocks over. But if it's not like a steal or a block, he's kind of lost on the defensive side of the ball. He doesn't really know where he's getting to, and that's why he's gotten his minutes shrunk a little bit over the past couple of games. I'm going to be interested to see how Borrego manages his minutes going forward. But to be the number 13 draft pick and through the first couple of weeks of the season, you're fourth in the rookie rankings. He's been rising. This is the week where he had his big game against Nikola Jokic, where he broke into it. And he's looked great ever since. And well, not ever since, because he's better. You know what I mean? All right. Next is VJ Edgecombe, who was the number 3 overall pick. He kind of started the season off really strong and has been going the opposite direction of Derik Queen. He's hurt now, so we'll see whenever he comes back. He looks really good. This is a really strong rookie class. He's at number 5, but number 6 is Jeremiah Fears, who is, again, it's going to be one of those things like Jason Tatum. He's only 19. Fear should be a freshman in college right now. He turned 19 less than 50 days ago. Really good stuff from him. He can get to his spots on the court. He can score at will. To be averaging over 15 points per game as a 19-year-old in your first 20 games of the season of your career is a really impressive thing. And like Queen, he has some very obvious places where his game needs to grow, but you have to be happy with where he is right now. I'd say right now he's even a little bit further behind Queen in this new offense because he doesn't see the court, I think, as well as Queen does. But whenever he has the ball in his hand, he has the ability to drive. He can score at will. He's starting to shoot a little bit more. There's a lot of moments where you see him kind of start to shoot the ball, shoot threes, and he kind of takes it back and then kind of tries to drive and then misses. His shot selection needs to improve. He needs to find that confidence to shoot threes. His three-point percentage has been great. It's just the actual shots he's been taking. Again, it's easy to harp on him over the past couple of games. He's like a minus 28, minus 24 against the Grizzlies. The net ratings, the advanced statistics don't love him. But for where he's at right now, I'd say the Pelicans should be ecstatic. He's another one that is way above his ranking. And lastly, before we go, I have to talk about Micah Peavy. I keep talking about it. Peavy has been great. He's not one of the top 10 rookies in the class. He's not going to be a top 10 player, but he does the right things. He's a great defender, great on-ball defender. He's a great off-ball defender, and he has found his niche on offense, which is cutting. Now, if he can develop a three-point shot, he'll become a great role player because as of right now, whenever he's shooting it, you don't really have a ton of confidence that it's going to go in. There's still good floor spacing things where he has to take the shots just so teams defend him, but he's just not making them at a good rate. I want to see real quickly. I didn't have this prep. I just want to see what his 3-point percentage is right now. Yeah, it's at 12%. And it feels like it might be, kind of feels worse than that because those 3-pointers came in bunches. Those 2 Thunder games, I believe, is where his makes came. But where, again, exceeding expectations. He looks like a real NBA player. He's great on the defensive side of the ball. He's rebounding well. He's starting to steal the ball. He had 4 steals in the win against the Bulls. And he's a great cutter. So there is a lane to use him on the offensive side of the ball. So, again, all 3 of these rookies are massively exceeding expectations. And given that the Pelicans only have 3 wins, if there's anything you want to look good whenever you don't have your own draft pick and you are losing a lot of games, it's the young pieces that you can build around that look to be the future. I'd say all 3 of these draft picks are massive hits and a great early win for Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver. All right, that was a long first segment, but let's get into the break and let's talk about the previews coming up next. The NBA season is heating up, and DoorDash has found the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long. Whether you're watching for highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game even better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called the Bag Drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Bash the next day, and you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. We're talking player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, and stuff you're actually going to want. So next time someone goes off for 50, use promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass. Plus, your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only, 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash, in your bag all season long. And thank you for making Locked On Pelicans your first listen today and every day. All my everydayers, come on, drop your comments down below. I know you're there. I know you're here. You probably already have dropped it, but that's because you're an everydayer. And if you're not an everydayer, come on, what's stopping you? We are here Monday through Friday, the number 1 Pelicans podcast, covering everything you want to know about this Pelicans team. So subscribe and watch us daily, either on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, or you can also watch us on the Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and now the number 1 sports podcast network in the nation. Come on and join me over on Pelicans Roundtable, or you can find me on Twitter at Dilly Sanders. Twitter. I know it's not called Twitter anymore. It's definitely not called Twitter. You can come join me on either of those. Come hang out. Dylan Sanders here filling in for Jake Madison, who is still on his honeymoon. All right, let's get into these game previews because the Pelicans have a back-to-back over on the West Coast. There's going to be some late nights watching these Pelicans play. If you could win at least one of these games, it would feel like a major, major win. I mean, obviously, a win is a win, but it's 2 tougher teams, 2 teams that have already beaten the Pelicans in the Warriors and the Lakers. So if you escape with one of these wins, you have to feel good. Beating the Warriors would feel great because that would put you at 2-1 in your last 3 games. You're starting to find things that click. It would be a huge confidence booster going into that Lakers game. And let's get into this Warriors game because there was some major news about star Steph Curry that came out. Now, you never want to see anybody get hurt at all, but it will impact this game, so I feel like we should talk about it. Curry suffered a quad strain against the Rockets. Thankfully, it's not a long-term injury, but he's going to miss about a week, maybe a little bit more, is what the reports say for Shams. And so he's not going to be playing on Saturday against the New Orleans Pelicans. And now, on the game earlier this season against the Warriors Pelicans game, they didn't have Steph Curry at his best, but he was still on the court. And the only reason that the Pelicans were able to really slow him down is because they had Herb Jones on him. Herb Jones shut him down. It was a really good game. Curry had 9 points on 2 of 11 for shooting, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. It was actually pretty funny watching that game because there were a ton of Warriors fans inside the stadium, and they were so upset that Curry was having a bad game. I mean, I get it. You paid money to go see Curry, but he didn't really have a great game, but it was funny to watch. And Herb Jones had a great game. So you don't have Herb Jones, and Micah Peavy's done a good job off the bench as a defensive replacement, but he's no Herb Jones yet. And so it would have been pretty hard to see them play against Steph Curry. Now, without him, the Warriors do get worse this season, but they're kind of a completely different team because whenever Curry doesn't play, things run through Jimmy Butler, who is a much slower player than Curry. And that the team slows down. The offense ticks way down, but the defense ticks way up. So there's not a huge change in net rating. They're plus 2.5 with Curry on the court. So it'd be a minus 2.5 with him off the court. So that's not a huge change, but it is a change. And it's really the change in philosophy that makes this game interesting to me, because how do the Pelicans react to that? Do they slow things down and kind of go back through running through Derik Queen? Do they try and keep their speed and force the Warriors to match their pace? It's going to be really interesting to see. Jimmy Butler was dishing the ball very well against the Pelicans. Draymond Green had a great rebounding game, but those are two places where the Pelicans now look a lot better now that they're playing with pace. It always is kind of like a trade-off, you find like a middle ground between the two teams. But I think more so than anything, than any pace or assists, the way that game would have looked a lot different is if you shut down the valve that was the Moses Moody 3-ball. He got off to a crazy start to that game. Now he slowed down over the 3 quarters, but he had 7 3-pointers made in the first quarter. They scored 44 points in that game. And then after that, the Pelicans kind of kept it pretty close. They still would have lost that game technically, because they lost the other quarters. The point differential was still bigger, but it was a much closer game. After that, Moses Moody slowed down, and now I asked James Borrego the other day about these role players that maybe aren't the center of a game plan, that kind of have these hot starts, and how you shut that down. And he acknowledged that that's a place like this Moses Moody game. There was the Grayson Allen game, but he pointed back to the Chicago Bulls game whenever Javon Carter came in off the bench, got hot, hit 3 quick threes, and then they've done a much better job of adjusting to whoever's hot and shutting them down whenever they get hot. You saw it in the Grizzlies game. The Grizzlies multiple points, like Jaren Jackson Jr. got off to a hot start. He hit 3 early threes, and then they kind of clamped him down. They went on a run later in the game, and they clamped those players down. They have been a much better team at stopping those runs from happening. So it'd be interesting to see how they adjust to Moses Moody on this game. He's not going to catch them by surprise, that is for sure, because they've already been torched by him. So I think without Steph Curry, I like this matchup a lot more, because I do think that where they are right now, I think Derik Queen has already been able to face Draymond Green and will have a little bit better of a time. There's no Zach Edey on the court. Jimmy Butler's good, but I'm interested to see how Trey Murphy looks. Sadiq Bey had an okay game. Jeremiah Fears really kind of ate against the Warriors defense. That was a big Jose Alvarado game, and these are players that, we talked a lot about the rookies, how they've been performing. So I think this is a big spot for them to step up. Jose Alvarado, stay hot. Jose Alvarado really seems to like the fit in this James Borrego offense, and that was the first game of the James Borrego offense. And they, kind of started to do those things a little bit better. So I'm interested to see how they look more in tune to what James Borrego wants to do. The biggest thing the biggest change in that game I want to see is the Warriors shot 56 3-pointers against the Pelicans 29 in that game. In a game that was, decided by less than 20 points. It was an 18-point game, so it wasn't close at all. But that's a big change. They made 24 more 3-pointers than the Pelicans did that game. And that is a thing where the Pelicans have made an effort to shoot the ball way more over the past couple of games. So that is a place where they can make this look like very different than the first matchup between the two teams. All right. So find a way to control the pace and don't let Moses Moody get off to a crazy start. You do those two things, I think the Pelicans will be in a good spot and maybe set themselves up to play with some confidence heading in to the Lakers game, which we're going to talk about coming up next. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or, you just want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score the next bucket to how they're going to score the next bucket to if it's going to be three-pointer, which they have everything that you can imagine pretty much. And if you want to combine some things, you can combine it to a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Keeps every game exciting, especially whenever your team's making that late push, which is something that the Pelicans have done. They've had, exciting games late as of late. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets to use whenever your $5 first bet. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score the next bucket, how they're going to score it, which team is going to be, pretty much everything you can imagine, all the way to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Keeps every game exciting, especially whenever your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, let's close out today's episode of Locked On Pelicans by talking about this Lakers game on Sunday night. And it's going to look a little bit different than whenever the Pelicans played them a couple of weeks ago. They lost that one 118-104. That was the last game of the Willie Green era, so it's going to look a lot different on the actual court itself. But for the Lakers, LeBron James is back, and he did not play in that game. LeBron James, no biggie, just even though he's still 40, he's still one of the greatest players of all time. The greatest, according to some people. I'm not going to tell you where I land on that because that's a different conversation for a different time. But he is still super impactful. Age 40, he turns 41 next month, but he's averaging about 18 points, 5 rebounds, about 9 assists per game. He still is just incredible. Like, even if he's not scoring at the same rate as he used to, he is, no biggie, just one of the best point guards around. And they have Luka still. So LeBron is going to completely change that game. Now, they're actually a -10 net rating with LeBron on the court because he's helping out their offense, but their defense is also a lot worse with him on the court so far this season. Again, it's a 3-game sample size, but it's still something to watch because the Pelicans offense has looked really good over the last couple of games. The games he's played 2 games against the Jazz and a game against the Clippers. The Jazz were able to put up 140. The Clippers were able to put up 135. So you'll get another game of sample size against the Mavericks for the Lakers on later tonight. But it's a different team with LeBron on the court. And so it'll be interesting to see how they balance that, how they attack that. And I think if there's a LeBron player that's going to be the biggest difference in this game, it's not even going to be Luka. It's not going to be Austin Reeves. DeAndre Ayton torched the Pelicans last time, but that was also because that's whenever they were playing Kevon Looney more. Yves Missi only had 10 minutes in that game, and that is something that's obviously not going to happen again this time. Yves Missi has looked really good, and I think he is a great matchup for DeAndre Ayton. They're both similar, super athletic centers. I want to see how Yves Missi holds his own against DeAndre Ayton, because DeAndre Ayton had 20 points, 16 rebounds. It was kind of like how Zach Edey completely changed the game in the Grizzlies loss a couple days ago. DeAndre Ayton did the same. And Ayton was looking really good before he got hurt against the Jazz in that second game. He missed that Clippers game, but it sounds like he's going to be back for the Pelicans game. So if he plays, he is like the biggest X factor for me, just because of he's going to be going up against a much different center room than who was before. That was a game also. Trey Murphy had 35 points in the game. If he could do that while also getting Zion back, this game could look a lot different. The Lakers are really good. They're really good ever since LeBron. They haven't lost since LeBron came back. They've won 5 in a row. Let's see how the Pelicans can hopefully change that. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this week as I'm filling in for Jake. I'm going to be here for a couple more weeks. And then, of course, make your second listen today before the weekend, Locked On Fantasy Basketball with Josh Lloyd holding it down. He's incredible. He makes you a smarter basketball player, a smarter basketball fan, and a better fantasy basketball player. Go check him out, and I'll see y'all next week.